The Democratic clown car has expanded, everybody. There's another announcement this morning. And look who it is. It's a guy everybody has heard of. When it comes to name recognition, this guy is knocking it out of the park. He is maybe the most known politician ever in the history of the United States. Everybody knows him. He is the one and only Seth Moulton. Seth Moulton enters the 2020 White House race. Representative Seth Moulton announced his 2020 presidential campaign early Monday, becoming the 20th candidate seeking the Democratic nomination. At this point, whenever somebody announces, it should just be greeted with like a press camp full of eye rolls. That's really how it should be at this point. There's 2 people just in Massachusetts alone, which, by the way, we have a little bit of Liz Warren news later. All right, so this guy, what's he all about? Moulton, who emerged a leader of the Democrats challenging Pelosi's path to speakership last fall, said in a video that he's running because we have to beat Donald Trump. And I want us to beat Donald Trump because I love this country. The former Marine's campaign platform includes a focus on gun control, national security, and addressing climate change. Decades of division and corruption have broken our democracy and robbed Americans of their voice. That's platitudes. This means absolutely nothing. Moulton said in an announcement, it's all led to an administration that turned away from our values and is shredding our moral authority. Trump's bad, you guys. Trump's bad. According to his campaign website, the 3-term congressman will travel to the early nominating states of New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Iowa this week. Moulton is 40, and he said for months he was considering a 2020 run. Wow, months? No shit. He thought about this for months? That's crazy. All right, so, I've never heard of this guy until now. I'm not totally familiar with him. But, I'm sure I've seen his name around, but he's not a representative I'm fluent in. What we know so far is that his announcement was, kind of another platitude word salad of, decades of division, democracy, we're strong, Trump's bad. So what is he going to do? What does he stand for? Well, it says he stands for gun control. He stands for, what was the other thing that they said? Here, let's go back to it. They mentioned 3 things. Climate change, which is good. That's good that that's on his list. National security. All right, that's code for he's willing to concede to Republicans on immigration. That's what that's code for. But let's see. What else is he all about? Let's see. What's something that... here's something. Here's a big one. Moulton dings Dems right out of the gate for single-payer healthcare push. Ooh, Moulton, you might have... you might have just lost me. You might have just lost me. Newly declared presidential candidate Seth Moulton criticized his Democratic competitors Monday for pushing the idea of single-payer health care. That thing that works really well in every other industrialized nation in the world. That thing that every other industrialized nation has, pretty much. That thing that because we don't have it, we're barely ranked in the top 40 of healthcare quality around the world. He's mad at his competitors. Shouldn't it be called his colleagues, by the way? I mean that's on the article, not on him, but you know what I mean. It's like we have such a stupid, just horse race mentality when it comes to elections in this country. I wish so bad our election cycle was 6 weeks. I wish so bad it was like only public funding, 6 weeks, that's it. And by the way, this would hurt me. Like if we ever went to that system, this would hurt me. It would be bad for my industry. But I still would rather live in a more respectable polis and take the hit than have this horse race circus that we have pretty much every year. Because really, when it's like you have midterms every 2, presidential every 4, pretty much every year, campaigning never ends. Like, it just never ends. Right after the midterms, people started for 2020. And it's by design. It's by design. Anyway, let's get back. So this guy's number 20. All right. I think I'm the only candidate who actually gets single-payer health care. He qualified his statement by adding that he qualified his statement by adding that, like his 18 opponents in the 2020 primary, I think healthcare is a right. I think every American should have access to good, affordable healthcare. Access being the key word there. I think it's a right, but you're not guaranteed it. You get access to it. But I think it's a right. You see how he just contradicted himself in that sentence? You should have access to something, but I think it's a right. Really? I have access to a BMW. But you wouldn't say I have a right to one because I can't afford one. But I have access to it. So you're saying everyone has a right to look at healthcare and be like, gee, that would be nice. But healthcare is a right. If you think healthcare is a right, you would favor policy that guarantees every American has healthcare, not one human being excluded. But he's not for that. Let's continue in this article. All right, so he had a bad experience, apparently, with single-payer healthcare. I made a commitment to continue getting my own healthcare at the VA, because he's a veteran. That's single-payer, and I'll tell you, it's not perfect. No system is perfect, Moulton. No system is, but okay. He said, if I'm elected, I'm not going to force you off your private healthcare plan. The question of whether the U.S. should eliminate private insurers during any transition to a universal healthcare model, they should, has sparked a divide among Democrats running for president and created an opening for Republicans to label the party as proponents of socialism. Ooh. While some Democrats have embraced the idea of democratic socialism, more moderate Democrats, who might as well join the GOP, by the way, have tried to shirk that label. And here's what Seth Moulton says. I'm not a socialist, I'm a Democrat, and I want to make that clear. And maybe that's a differentiator for me in this race. Moulton is not new to clashing with his party. He's made a name for himself crusading against House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's leadership from the party, most recently mounting an unsuccessful push to oust her as the caucus leader after last November's midterm elections. Moulton launched his bid to unseat Trump on Monday, looking to make a splash in a packed primary field by championing issues like defense and national security. Sounds like a Republican that he dinged his party for shying away from. All right, so here's his criticisms of his own right-wing party. They're not heavy enough on security, and they support things like single-payer healthcare, which, by the way, most of them don't. Some of them do, and that's who he's against. And why is he against single-payer healthcare? He apparently had some bad experiences at the VA. What were those bad experiences? I'm not sure exactly. In this particular article, he doesn't go into detail. But apparently, he had less than perfect experiences at the VA where he gets his free health care. And because of that, he's against a model that works in every other industrialized nation in the world. He's against that model because of a bad experience he had at the VA. Okay, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Is he against closing all McDonald's in the country because he had a bad experience at one once? I mean, what kind of logic is that? And I don't know why I use McDonald's as an example. That's a dumb example, and I actually don't like McDonald's at all, nor do I go there. But you see I had a bad experience in this thing, so I'm against this concept that works all around the world. It works in every other industrialized nation in the world, pretty much. And the ones that don't have it and have something similar to what we have, they pay similar prices to what we pay, like over in Switzerland. But they rank better when it comes to health insurance because even though they have private insurance, it is very, 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 very heavily protected. It is very heavily scrutinized by government. So they still pay a lot more, by the way, but they do overall have better quality because there is a lot of oversight. We pretty much have no oversight. We just have a free-for-all for corporate for-profit insurance companies. And should the private insurers go away? Yes. The answer is yes. Yes, they should. They should go away. They should go away. If it's something, like elective services or something like that, like cosmetic things, then, there might be a lane in a situation like that. But for the most part, to really transition into a better system, the private insurers need to not be at the table anymore, period. That's it. They're gone. They're gone. So, anyway, but this guy, Moulton, doesn't think so because he had a bad experience at a VA once. So, what else do you need to hear about this guy? Sounds like another nothing establishment candidate who is campaigning on, hey, Trump's bad and I want to unify the country. I'm going to unify everybody by telling you can't have healthcare. I think healthcare is a right and you should have access to it. You have access to a BMW. You have access to $1 million. You have access to, you get the idea. If you think healthcare is a right, you support a system that ensures everybody, not one human being excluded in the country. And you support a system that works around the world, which is a single-payer, nonprofit system. And yeah, the private insurers need to go bye-bye. And if you don't support that, then you don't think healthcare is a right. You just don't. And when these politicians say that they do, but they don't support a single-payer, Medicare for all system, they're lying to you. When they say, hey, the status quo is fine, they don't believe healthcare is a right. Because our status quo is saying healthcare isn't a right. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your